You want a Pepsi or Dr. Pepper?
Tea. No, make it a water. Otherwise, I'll have to pee. After the countdown.
Hey everybody, and welcome live to the Top Livestock live stream for the Kiko harvest sale. We got some people popping in, so we'll take a little bit of time here, let some people join the live stream, and take care of a little bit of housekeeping, do some introductions and things of that nature while people are popping in. See the likes coming in there, so that's great. We want to know that you're out there and that you're watching. So James Sanders, Corey Peel, and myself will be moderating the lot preview tonight. I'll let James go ahead and introduce Corey for us, and then we'll talk about some housekeeping stuff.
All right. Thank you, Andy. Andy and I were talking about doing this preview and trying to figure out who to have for a guest speaker, I guess, so to say. Corey Pell here, he was a member of the 2018 National Championship Livestock Judging Team for Oklahoma State University. He's one of the, I would say, most renowned livestock judges in the country right now. I understand that the Kiko breed isn't a show breed, but I think the thing that we continue to see more and more, that sometimes people lose the target of keeping good conformational goats that are actual good conformation and functionality. And I thought everybody that sees the catalog knows the pedigree. I'm going to talk the pedigree. Corey, I think where he could help is the ones that he can see pictures or videos of. He can give his opinion on how their conformation will actually help them as far as functionality goes. So I thought it'd be good to add a different twist to it and let everybody, hopefully an educational type twist for the viewers.
I think that'd be great. Good deal. So for housekeeping, we'll talk a little bit about the auction. The auction, all lots are grouped together as one lot. And bidding will continue until 7 p.m. In the last 5 minutes of the sale, if there's any lot that is bidded on within the last 5 minutes, all lots will extend by 5 minutes. We do that to hopefully help the bidders to where if they're bidding on a lot and it gets out of the range, it gives them time to go back and pick another lot up as a second choice. So we do that to try to help the bidders. Again, the auction does close at 7 p.m. If you are the highest bidder, when the auction closes, administrative staff will start Sunday night, and it'll be into Monday. We will email you an invoice to the email that you put in when you registered. So be checking that if you did win the bid on a lot, and we hope you do. You can pay by check, PayPal, credit card, but with a credit card there will be a 3.5% processing fee added to the total invoice. If you have any questions through the sale or after the sale, you can contact us through Facebook Messenger. You can email us at info@toplivestock.com or reach out to phone 423-258-4952, and I'll try to put that down in the show notes. The live stream, we have it set to stay up. So if people weren't able to watch during the live stream, hopefully they'll be able to go back and do it. We know everybody's busy doing chores and taking care of the livestock and the goats. So hopefully you'll be able to watch that for your enjoyment. We do have the commenting turned on. You can comment with a question if you like. We will try to bring those in and address them if we can. And I think that's it. I think I missed anything, James. I covered pretty much everything.
I think you hit it all.
Okay, great. We got people coming in. That's good. We're up to 16 now, and got 3 thumbs up, James. So everybody's liking Corey. That's a good thing.
That's good.
That's good. All right.
That's why we brought him. We knew they wouldn't like
That's why we brought him. Yeah. So I'm going to change the layout here a little bit, and when we get to the lots, everybody, I'll make it full screen, and you won't have to look at the dynamic trio here anymore. But we got a great group of consigners, and we want to thank those consigners. They've put together an excellent group of lots for your consideration. I think that almost any of those, for sure, all of those will definitely help somewhere in a herd as we go through. James will, I'm sure, expand on that. So thanks to those consigners. We know it's hard to get things in sales. So I'm going to go into the first lot, and I'll make it full screen. Kind of how this hopefully will work is I'll kind of give a little intro on them, and Mr. Sanders and Corey, where it can be, will give some input. So lot 1, 2 embryos from AFK Caesar and CGIY 573. As you can see, Caesar is a son of Nick, who is a son of Moneymaker, and a Pango Hua daughter. So these are some great embryos and a great chance for you to implant those and get the Pango Hua and the Nick in that offering. So let James give some input there.
You bet. I guess first thing to say while we're on this deal, these are in vitro embryos. Not that means a whole lot as far as the value of them or how they work. They're frozen embryos that are grade 1, stage 6 embryos. In vitro means that they were harvested a different way than traditional flush. That's I think while we're talking about the in vitro, it's a good way to explain to the buyers and bidders that in vitro is another great option that's available for the goat. They've been doing it in the goat and cattle world quite a bit. Cattle for a lot of years, goats for a couple of years. It's a way to make your high dollar straw of semen go a lot further. Usually when you do a traditional flush, you use 1 or 2 straws of semen per flush. We've done in vitro work where you used 8 or 10 donor does and used a half of 1 straw of semen. So when you go to looking at spending $5 to $5,000 a straw, it gives you a second option on how to make some of that come out. So for those that don't know, that's what in vitro is. These embryos, they're sired by AFK Caesar, which of course is the good son of some boy Stanton Nick out of 5C Suzette. And the dam to these embryos is CGIY 573. That's a Pango Hua daughter that Judy Carter bought from the CGI firm. I have seen this doe a few times and liked her enough that she now lives in my pasture. This is as good of a Pango doe as I've seen, and there's some good Pango does out there. So here's a great opportunity for someone to get some embryos, not only out of a daughter of Pango, but a very good daughter of Pango, and of course sired by AFK Caesar. So bid with confidence on this. You're gonna like the babies.
Yes, sir. So lot 2, TBG Hoosier 10 High, 2 straws. And he was a top 10 buck from the 2016 Maryland Buck Test. We've heard stories about how hard the Maryland Buck Test was. His dam is JDR Della, and Della is the daughter of Big Sam. Big Sam won the 2012 Maryland Buck Test, and Hoosier 10 High is also Saturday top 10 overall buck in the 2019 Eastern Oklahoma University Buck Test. So I'll leave that picture up there for just a minute. And before we move on, James, we are getting people in. I want to thank you guys. We're getting viewers in. That's great. That's what we're doing it for. And some comments are coming through, so that's great. So I'll leave it to you, James.
That's great. Well, you've already said that he was a top 10 buck there at Maryland 2016. We'll mention the Maryland Buck Test, and the Oklahoma Buck Test, and the West Virginia Buck Test, the Langston Buck Test, a lot in this preview, and I'm thrilled about that we have breeders that are this test oriented, dedicated to improving the breed. If you're looking for performance proven pedigree, when you look at Mr. Weber's pedigree on top and JDR on the bottom, there's not much more. Those two farms test as hard as anyone out there. And of course, the JDR Della out of Big Sam. Not only is she out of Big Sam, she's out of a really good Lynn 8 Nick daughter. So there's Hoosier 10 High. He is a good buck. He's already proven himself at the test. When you look at his pedigree, you see why he was able to do that. And I would talk about his confirmation, but since we went through the trouble of getting Corey here, I'm going to let him talk about it. So,
there we go.
Thanks, James. And earlier when we started this deal, you said something about confirmation and functionality. And I think another word that can be thrown in there is longevity. These does that would come out of this semen, or potential buck kids that would come out of the semen, those things still got to go to work every day. And in my mind, I see this one in terms of angulation to his shoulder. He's pushed back in his knee and still has some flex to his hock. One that still, just reads functional to me. And I'd say the females would be pretty good out of this one.
That's exactly how the pedigree reads.
Yep. There we go. Good deal. So lot 3 is a live buck. The boys of fall have begun. This buck is Sand Hat Tip. He's out of Day Money and a Annie Oakley doe. And Annie Oakley, I've been keeping my eyes on. She's out of Imprint and a Nelly One daughter, which I really, really like. So, James, you want to talk about Hat Tip just a little bit?
You bet. And I told Andy at the beginning that I would like to try to keep this whole thing 30 minutes to an hour. So I'm going to try not to get too long-winded on some of these. This one I'm pretty excited about, obviously, because we raised him, but I'll still try not to be long-winded. Anyone that's been to our place in the last year has seen this buck. If you've been to our place in the last 2 years, you've seen his sire and his dam. Annie Oakley was she's a doe that we have that came from a flush embryo transfer project that we did. We were able to buy HKF Nelly 1 from the Hancock farm, and we flushed her to Goliath's imprint with the one goal was to get good females out of that deal. And we kept the best 2 females. We still have both of them in our herd, and they have turned out to be amazing females. Just so happens that they are full sisters to the mother of MGR or MRG Outlaw and Thriller. So obviously those does will see their their chance to meet straws of HKF Sunny Boy in the future. They're actually both confirmed bred to him now. This buck kid or yearling buck, sired by Day Money out of Annie Oakley. We've test bred him to a couple of dozen does. The kids are phenomenal. The buck himself is just a picture of what you want one to be. He's never had a parasite problem. He's never had a foot problem. He's got the depth of body and the spring of rib that you look for in one. Black points, black feet, black points on his ears. He's as good of a buck as I think that we could have offered that we raised here.
What about you,
Yeah,
Corey?
so another really nice built one here. James, I think, has done an extremely good job with his Kikos. Something that I'm maybe not the most familiar with, but just looking at this one and being able to see him in person, this one's comfort level, I think, is awfully good. This one's kind, I think, is awfully good. You wouldn't go wrong here.
Okay. Lot 4 is one straw of ELH Blue Sun. Don't have no notes on him. He's pretty well known. Here's a straw that would be a potential for intro V if you wanted to do that, or a natural flush. But one straw for your consideration of ELH Blue Sun.
You bet. As far as details about him, everyone knows Blue Sun. Obviously, he's the sire of Warsaw and Wapanucka. He's the sire of Blues Copyright. He's the sire of half of the I better not say half. He's the sire of a whole bunch of the top siring and top grand siring bucks in the Kiko industry when it comes to performance testing. I would say a very strong percentage of performance tested, proven bucks have Blue Sun in their top 3 pedigrees or top 3 generations there, whether they're sons, grandsons, or great grandsons of Blue Sun. We mentioned the in vitro deal. This is semen that's obviously not going to be the cheapest semen to buy, but it's certainly an investment and a sound investment. If you could take this straw semen and if you breed 6 or 8, if you do in vitro and do 6 or 8 donors one time and 6 or 8 donors another time, that makes that semen sure seem pretty cheap when you look at the number of quality babies you can get out of that deal.
Yes, sir. Okay.
So, Blue Sun here. James let me look through these lots earlier today, and this is one that sure enough stuck out to me. Just looking at him, he's the masculinity that thing offers. He's plenty wide right there when you're looking at him. That one's rib cage is extremely big, and in my industry and several other industries, we talk about laying a foundation, and to offer some muscularity down the top side of those things skeleton, they got to have a foundation. And with a rib cage like that, I'd say he'd be able to inject that into a lot of offspring.
You bet.
Yep. So lot 5, Boulders Hill Jim. I've got notes on him here that he's a grandson, of course, of JTV Klondike and Jolene. And I'm told that Jolene was in the original shipment with Mr. Generator. There's 2 straws for your consideration. Mr. Sanders.
You bet. And I've heard obviously I wasn't there when the boat hit the American soil, but I've heard from more than one person that Kaepernick's Jolene was on that boat with the originals when they came over. I know this Boulder Hills Jim. Well, I mean, Boulder Hills itself doesn't need much explanation. If you've been around the Kiko deal very long, you know the folks there in Boulder Hills, and they've put a whole bunch of good Kikos all over the country. I've seen BHF goats from the East Coast to the West Coast and everywhere in between, and they go out and go to work, and they've done a great job putting good goats together. And I know they have I think Troy sent me some pictures of some of the gym babies last year before, and they were knockouts. And I don't see any reason why Jim wouldn't do a good job for anyone else. Jolene was a massive kind of a doe, for her time, and I'm sure the Klondike. I didn't see JTV L12, but I would bet he was no slouch himself. The pictures I've seen at the Boulder Hills gym, he was a very nice animal himself. Good opportunity here.
Yep. Lot 6, 2 straws of HKF Sunny Boy for your consideration. I think, again, Sunny Boy is one of those bucks that has proved himself in performance testing with Outlaw and several other bucks that have went through and backed up his ability to produce and be parasite resistant. I didn't put the pedigree in because I figured everybody knew him. I just got a good picture of him there.
That's all right. That's another good example. We were talking about Blue Sun earlier, how almost every one of the top bucks that go through a buck test, or top does that produce top bucks, they all go back to Blue Sun somewhere. Here's another great example of that. Sunny Boy being a son of Warsaw by Blue Sun. Of course, he's out of the great doe HKF Sarah Ruth, that of course is one of the many daughters of Gold Mine Heritage, or as Hancock's call them, big boy daughters. That's a rare creature in today's world. Sunny Boy has, in terms of production, obviously I felt I feel very strongly about Sunny Boy. I had Mike and Lori gave us the opportunity to purchase Sunny Boy several years ago, and when we added him to the herd, that was a good day for Good as Gold Kikos. We got a lot of really good does from him, and a couple of really good bucks that we've sent out across the country. We still have one SAN Day Money is our son of Sunny Boy that's out of a Blues copyright daughter. So a lot of people look at Sunny Boy and think he was the small, more moderate frame buck than some of them. Very parasite resistant. His daughters are very maternal. The Day Money buck that we have, he gained 25 pounds in 28 days at the Oklahoma buck test, and that's it's recorded. That's fact, not fiction. So there's a lot of people think that the Sunny Boy kids won't grow, or can't grow like some of them can. I think with the crossed on the right one, it can. So
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Excuse me. Okay, lot 7.
Boy here. One that I honestly liked early on, grandson of that Blue Sun that I liked quite a bit earlier. James already kind of told you about whatever he's done, and it does look a little bit to be on maybe the moderate side, but in my world, that's always pretty good. We talk about easier keeping stuff, and especially on that female side with his rib cage and his lines and correctness, I think it could be extremely good.
Okay, lot 7, AVG Marshall, 2 straws of Marshall for your consideration. He was the grandsire of the 2016 West Virginia Grand Champion, which he's a little later in the sale here. We'll see him. So he does have some testing behind him on his pedigree. I'll go back to the picture. You can see there he's out of Tay M22, which is out of Hercules, and East X Zeus by Sunboy 116 doe. And a pretty good picture of him there. Well,
yeah, when a person thinks AVG Marshall, all you can think is performance tested, performance tested, performance tested. Obviously, Tay M22 doesn't need much introduction. Hercules over a generator moneymaker doe. The generator moneymaker worked forever and worked with just about every cross on. They could cross about any buck on those does, and it worked. You go down to the bottom side of that, and you got Alice, who I have been told from several angles that Alice was the biggest doe in the Kiko world at one time. Of course, she's sired by Zeus, which is also out of the Kaepernick's Jolene doe that we were talking about earlier that came over with generator and the others on the original boat. So if you want to go back to the old school stuff that has been proven time and time again, get in here.
Old school, I like it. Just sitting here looking at Marshall, one that I think is still plenty comfortable in terms of his look and his build, offers some depth to his side, and certainly looks like he would inject some growth into his offspring. Has a track record that's spoken for itself. I think he's a really, really nice buck.
thank you, Corey. Now, lot 7A, the MGR Titans Hammer. He's one of the most sought after bucks right now in the Kiko industry. A lot of people are using him. He's producing a lot of performance winners in the buck test. Some of the top programs right now, that's what they're using and making crosses with, because it is being so successful, and it is very rare. This is a rare opportunity to add genetics that are not out there to your program and move your program ahead really, really fast, in my opinion. James.
You bet. When Andy and I were talking about putting this cell together, the first thing we said was we got to have the genetics that'll bring buyers to the cell. Everyone that knows me, I've had lots of calls wanting to buy hammer semen, and we just don't sell it. We use it. And this is a rare opportunity. If you want to own some hammer semen, here's your chance. We were talking about the in vitro deal. I know in our experiences in the cattle world, when you do in vitro work, you can have the same bull, semen from the same bull in different collections. The in vitro works better. This collection is not a good collection for in vitro, but that collection, they've done really well. I can tell you from firsthand experience that we have used the Titans hammer semen from this same collection in the in vitro. We had 8 donor does, and we used a half a straw of semen and had plenty. The numbers were great, and we've got embryos in recips now from that. So I can tell you, it's easy to say bid with confidence. This isn't, obviously, it's not going to be the cheapest semen in the cell. It's hard to say which semen will be the best value as far as will make the biggest bang for your buck down the line. But if you like a meat goat that has meat on his bones and is parasite resistant, 4 legs to stand on, anyone that's used the hammer lines knows that that's exactly what he'll do for you.
Well, James, I think his name kind of speaks for himself here. We talk a lot about skeletal width and the meat animal side of things, and that one offers a lot of shape to his forearm there. He's got some width to his chest. You see the dimension in between his feet there at the surface of the ground. You can see the shape to his rib cage there. One that offers a lot of mass and spread down the top side of his skeleton. I mean, I don't know much about what this one is, but he sure enough looks like a great one.
That's
sir.
pretty well says it.
Moving on, lot 8 is 2 straws for your consideration of Godex 1489. He's one of the oldies. James, I'll let you help me out here on that one.
I wish I could tell you a whole lot about him, but I wasn't there. This is another one of the original imports. For those that like to bring the old and mix it with the new and make the great, this is a great opportunity. I can't speak a whole lot on it because I haven't used a lot of 1489, so I don't have a lot of 1489 to use because there's not much of it out there. So with that being said, I don't have a lot of experience here, but I know there's a lot of folks that have used it. I've got some 1489 does and some does that have 1489 in them, and they're obviously great does, or I wouldn't still have them out there, but I haven't used it myself to say much.
Yeah, but actually, you just said what you said, James. Actually, what I was thinking about, because I was thinking about these straws, and I think taking the old and mixing it with the new, and the improvements that have been made through the breedings is a good opportunity to use some of the older stuff. Here, moving on to lot 9. Lot 9 is 2 embryos. They're stage 6, grade 1. Came from a natural flush, a live cover. Familiar with this lot here? They're out of San Sunny Boy 1622 there on the left, and a LFK Outlaw Starlight doe. This mating has produced some really, really great animals. The last one went to the West Virginia buck test, and he placed 10th place overall there for ADG, not overall, but 10th place for the ADG portion of the test, and we've retained him. He's looking really great. So excited about these. Hope to see somebody get them on the ground.
You were talking a minute ago about taking the old and putting with the new. That's exactly what SAN Sunny Boy 1622 is. That GIN V2C was the last living daughter of TNT Cody, and she was not a young doe when, I guess she was 11 years old when 1622 was born. We made that flush with Sunny Boy over V2C. Had a great set of does and a couple of really good bucks out of that flush. Obviously, we sold 1622 at the AKGA sale. I believe he was the high selling buck there that year. And you've done a phenomenal job at your place with him. Of course, crossing him on the Outlaw doe. Of course, she's Outlaw and Iron Horse, which has been a good cross for years and years. It's no surprise that buck went to that you sent the West Virginia buck, and he done a good job. That's what you would expect out of a cross like that. I would feel very confident about these embryos.
Just say a little bit on that. You're talking a lot about consistency and functionality, and with that, I mean, just looking at that one's pedigree, see Sunny Boy on both sides of that, and why not line it up and just make it that much better, in my opinion.
You bet.
And it worked. That's a good thing, knowing that it worked.
Yeah, it's already proven.
Yep, there you go. So here we go with lot 10, 2 embryos. This is two of the old guys, 2289 over a 2689 doe, OLF White's maiden. She goes back to TSF Gold Mine. 2 embryos here to kind of marry the old with a little bit of the new there, I guess. And
this is a cross that I I guess Judy made this cross, but I like it. I looking through the cell catalog. Like I said, I haven't had much experience using the 2289, the 1689 or 2689 myself. We've got quite a bit of it on the bottom side of a lot of our does out there, but to see the 2289 on the 2689, and then of course the TSF gold mine on the bottom, this is I hate to call it pedigree bomb proof, but this one sure looks like this wasn't just someone decided, hey, let's breed this doe to this buck. There was some thought went into this, and you're not just paying for the embryos, you're paying for someone's time to think about what making the right cross. You know, they own a good doe, and they do their homework to find the right buck to put in them. That's what you have to look at on this embryo deal.
And I think that's an interesting point, James, that really needs to be hit on again. There's a lot of effort and a lot of energy and a lot of time and a lot of dollars most of the time pairing this stuff up to get the embryos. And the breeder who did that is really giving you an opportunity to not have to do all that legwork and everything yourself, and I guess benefit from all that. So here we go with lot 11, 2 straws of HKF Big Boys Pride. He's a Gold Mine Heritage son by Tasman Dame.
You bet. Anyone that's talked to me about goats knows how I feel about Gold Mine Heritage. I think the Hancock's done a lot of really, really good things. They're still doing great things with their Kiko operation. But one of the best things they've done, I would say, would be HKS Sunny Boy. And another one would be HKF Big Boys Pride. I tell you, when you look at Heritage and you look at Pride, they were very similar in type and kind. This buck, this semen could help a lot of issues that a lot of Kikos have across the country. If you want to add some meat and skeleton and muscle to one, this one he'll sure do it. I can tell you myself, I like the Gold Mine Heritage. We had a pretty good run with some Gold Mine Heritage daughters, and was lucky enough to find every Gold Mine Heritage daughter that was alive and bring her back to Oklahoma. So I'm a big fan of the Gold Mine Heritage. I used Big Boys Pride this last year in our AIs, in a couple of our AIs, and I think this is a great opportunity for someone to get some up close Gold Mine Heritage in their program.
I think James hit it best there. That one just screams masculine to me. He's extremely stout. You study his forearm there. He's got some circumference to his foot and bone. That one's rib cage is really big, offers some shape and some muscularity there. I'd say that one's going to be a nice lot as well.
Looking at lot 12 here now. This is 2 embryos. There's that Sand Day Money that we were talking about a little bit earlier, and a Saft Springs Golden Rosy doe. James, I'll let you talk about these.
We were talking about embryos earlier, about how the work's already done. The embryos are already made, ready for your recips. I can tell you there was a lot of work went into these as far as figuring out what to do with what. We are very fortunate here to own Springs Golden Rosy. She is the last living daughter of Golden Boy. She is a poster child of the Kiko doe. I tell you, if I would love to have every doe in my pasture look like Golden Rosy. Everyone that's ever been to the farm since she was here has said, "Who is that doe right there?" I think right before I made this flush, PJ Murphy was here and we were looking at different does, and I asked him, I said, BJ, if you own Golden Rosie, who would you breed her to? And his answer was, sometimes you just need to breed a doe to a buck that won't change anything. And we went with Day Money, thinking that, he is as conformationally correct. He has all the pieces that I like in a buck. So I thought that would be a good cross on her. Turned out to be a phenomenal cross. We didn't have enough recips at the time when we done the flush, and we only put embryos in one recip, and I can promise you, when the babies hit the ground, I was sure wishing we had more of them coming. We actually, one of our junior sires now is SAN Short Round, which would be the buck on the screen right now. He is, I'm sorry, not the buck on the screen right now. He's on the ad there, but anyway, he is the buck that we kept out of the recip, out of this flush, and he will be used immensely in the Good as Gold program moving forward. We've raised a handful of really good bucks here, and there's never been one hit the ground that I thought as highly of as I do that buck. Hard pair of embryos to get rid of, just to be honest. But like I said, when Andy and I said we were going to do this deal, we wanted to make sure we offered the best. And if you were to dig through my tank, you're going to have a hard time finding embryos that I would say are any better.
Yeah, I think the last time I was here, James, you actually let me see Rosie, and I asked how much, and you just kind of chuckled at me. And so I guess that just tells you how much faith he has in this one. And let's just say we all like some Day Money. That one's build is extremely hard to make. He's really deep-sided, still one that offers some masculinity and some width there. Really nice buck, and I think a really nice mating.
Lot 13. We have a CGI Quantum Singularity and a HKF Lori 8 doe. It looks like a real good pairing. Let's flip on over to the pedigree there, and we'll go back to the pictures. Of course, that's a little Joe Herschel on the bottom there. They can't get much better than that out of little Joe. And then, of course, we know what Pango Hua puts into the animals. So,
yeah, if a person wants to look at performance-proven type pedigree, I tell you what, when you look at the sire, Quantum being a son of Pango, and then you look at the dam, Lori 8, she's the daughter of Herschel out of Lucille. I tell you, that's Herschel. Herschel is a little Joe, which is a son of Golden Boy, and some people may not realize it, but Herschel's mother, which is 292 BB, is a full sister to Sonny Boy. So when you look at Little Joe and Sonny Boy and Lucille and Pango all in one deal here, that's a fault-free, no-miss type pedigree. And if you look at the videos that they've posted on Facebook in the last few days, that Lori 8 that's a really, really, really nice doe. Coming at you, going away, every angle of her says she probably needs to live in Guthrie, Oklahoma. That's a really, really good doe.
Something I should add there before Corey jumps in is when we were talking to the consigners, Crystal Rivers, this was one in their tank that they really had a hard time parting with, and they said they would probably never part with any more of them. So this is a rare opportunity too.
Yeah, so we talk a lot about just not messing things up, and I think with Quantum going on, this Lori doe, I think will do just that. When you study Quantum, I think one that's consistent in terms of his build and kind, offers some depth and some growth. And when you study that one's performance test, I think he shows that as well.
Lot 14, 2 straws for your consideration of BBM Sports Cat, Y253. He's a son of Sports Cat by a Nick daughter. And then on the bottom there, you got Gloria, which is out of gold mine. And Gloria was a pretty prolific producer in the Kiko industry. So 2 straws there for your consideration.
I've talked to Troy for years about this buck, and I told him a few years ago that he probably won't want me telling y'all this, but I told him I thought he was messing up because he wasn't using him enough. Sky S408 Sports Cat was a great buck. If you want one that can put hard muscle on one and still be flexible and easy to move around, it's hard to beat. The old Sports Cat, of course, he was out of Tasman Temptress. That doesn't hurt a thing. Then when you look at the bottom side of this buck, she's out of a doe that was sired by Nick and out of ECR Gloria. ECR Gloria obviously has a pretty high place in my book. She's not only did she produce the doe that produced this buck, she also produced WMB Mingo and WMB Hobo. Of course, we owned Mingo until his dying days, and he was a big part of our success, so I have to give part of that to Gloria. Long story short, I think I've seen a lot of good does that Troy had out of this buck. I think he could help a lot of programs.
Yeah, just studying that one, I think to me he looks like one that offers some growth. He looks bigger in his kind. And when you study that one, his levelness in terms of his top line, which I always kind of translate that to how much muscle they have. If they have enough muscle to keep them tied together behind their shoulder, to keep everything level there, I think that one's going to be extremely nice for whoever buys it.
Okay, lot 15. 2 straws for consideration of Lynn 8. And if we quickly bounce over, you can see here Lynn 8 is double bred keeper on top and bottom, out of bouncer, and a keeper doe. Lynn 8 has produced some performance proven bucks itself. We got Ryback coming up a little bit down the road that he produced, and he's going to put the color on him. He's known for that, and the good buck there.
You bet. I tell you, if you like line bred consistency, I think is a good way to put it. This Lynn 8's as good as there is. He's keeper on keeper. He's money maker on money maker. And he's on top of that, he's produced some really, really, really good bucks in the buck test. And he's done, if you look at the farms that have Lynn 8 daughters, I haven't done it, but if you were to go look at the pedigree search and find where all the Lynn 8 daughters are, I would bet 85 or 90% of those Lynn 8 daughters will be in heavy tested farms. If you want to raise bucks to send to the buck test that can compete, it's hard to go wrong with the Lynn 8 daughter. So get in where you can here.
All right. Lot 16, CGI Apollo 540. Lot 16 is 2 straws for your consideration. Mr. Apollo 540 is Lightning's Titan over a Pango Hua daughter. We know Lightning's Titan produced Waco 139. That correct, James?
Lightning's Titans sired by Waco.
Yeah. That's right. I'm sorry. Yeah, by Waco 139. Buck there's been used and produced some really great stuff.
It's hard to beat Lightning's Titan. We've used a bunch of Lightning's Titan sons and daughters in our program, and we'll continue to use them moving forward. You put Lightning's Titan over the Pango Hua doe or the Leah doe, can't go wrong there. I can tell you that I think Troy Boone and the I'm trying to remember who all bought into that doe. They bought a sister to this buck and have produced some amazing kids so far out of the deal. I think it may have just been Troy Boone and the Vaughn brothers, but either way, that's a really, really good buck. The sister is a really good doe. The point made there is the consistency. Apollo continues to produce good kids. Get in where you feel comfortable here as well.
Okay. Next up, lot 17, 2 straws of Ozark Cracker Jack. He's a 2689 that we were talking about those 89s earlier, and 2689 has been in some good does in the industry. Tasman Zorro doe, which we know Zorro produced Onyx. 2 straws for your consideration here.
I'm realizing that we're taking longer than we're supposed to. So
yeah, we are. Yeah, we're looking at the time.
Just another great buck, Ozark's Cracker Jack. I know Warren Barnes. They produced a bunch of good goats, and they use Cracker Jack to do a bunch of.
And I think you can see through all this, the consigners have put together a good group of lots here. So it's hard not to give them all the justice they need, but we are going to go a little bit long. Kendall Barnes. I'll put this up here. Thank you, Kendall. Good info takes time. Yeah, we appreciate that. A live buck up here at lot 18. JPR 1622's Carhartt. He's a son of that Sonny Boy 1622 buck that we were talking about earlier. This was a hard one to put in there, but he's needing to go somewhere where somebody can do him right. He's a 2019 Langston University test buck. He placed 7th in the ADG for the barn phase, 10th in feed efficiency. We put videos out there on him. James, I don't know if you want to add anything or not, but there he is.
Just briefly, obviously, I kind of shamed Andy into putting this buck in the cell. He talked me into putting some good stuff in, so I made him put I agree is the best yearling he has there. I mean, I've heard from many people that have been there that's as good of a yearling as there is walking. So I'm Andy, I'm glad you put him in. I hope he tops the sale and goes and sets records for somebody. I like that buck a whole lot.
Yeah. I've had many people say
James, I'm sorry conned you into doing that, Andy, but another one that I think is extremely, extremely nice. You study that one's foot shape. I don't think he has any problems there. He's plenty stout in terms of his feature. I like that one's rib cage and the way he's designed in terms of his underneath. And we talk a lot about scrotal circumference from where I'm from and what that does. In my mind, to me, that just means he's going to be able to breed that many more does. And I know in the cattle industry, I don't know so much about the goat, but we always talked about the bigger scrotum that they are, the quicker those daughters will come into estrus. I don't know. You guys would know more about that on this side of things, but I'd say the tail still is told true. So really nice one there that I like quite a bit.
Thanks
Lot
for consigning.
19. Yeah, that's You're welcome. Lot 19, 2 embryos here, which I think is a really rare opportunity. I was excited to see these come in myself. We know what Iron Horse has done in the industry, what he's doing in the sales ring. This is a great pairing here with Iron Horse over a Gold Mine Blockbuster daughter. Really, that TSF M2's Lila is a double bred Gold Mine. Really great opportunity here for some embryos.
Absolutely. There's been a few people using the Iron Horse recently, and I tell you, Iron Horse got used a whole bunch, obviously, when he was alive, and got used on a lot of does that maybe there wasn't a buck that could have been good on them. And from what that's the story I was told. There's a lot of good animals sired by Iron Horse, and I don't know that there's been many crosses as good as this double bred gold mine doe on the Iron Horse. This is a great opportunity for not just for Iron Horse people, but for the gold mine people and for just someone that wants to raise good Kikos. This should be a phenomenal cross.
Yes, sir. Lot 20, 2 straws here of another Hancock Farm buck, Flash. Flash, as you can see here, out of Boaz, Little Joe, and Heritage Cross. That's going to work. There's Delilah down there.
That's
all.
We talk a lot about HKF this and HKF that, but there's a reason. Like I said, the Hancocks have done a phenomenal job putting together a bunch of really, really good goats. This Boaz is another Little Joe son that he was a nice buck. Delilah, not only is she a Gold Mine Heritage daughter, what a lot of folks don't know is she is a full sister to HKF Nelly 1, which is the doe that we bought from the Hancocks that have produced many, many great goats for us. So really, really strong maternal side here. I think this old Flash can sure produce some good females.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at him, I think that one's correct in terms of his build. He offers some depth to his side and just looks like everything's where it's supposed to be on him.
There's lot 21 coming up here. Lot 21 is 2 straws for your consideration. To me, again, this is another rare offering. You've got Sunboy Rotan 150. 2 straws here. I've got a Rotan 150 daughter here. Really like her. He, of course, is Nick's brother, but he's produced some really good stuff.
You bet. There's people watching right now that have gave me a hard time about lining up Moneymaker, maybe more than I should. And I think we've had daughters and sons of every Moneymaker son out there on our place already. And I think my favorite ones I know my favorite ones so far have been sired by Sunboy Rotan 150. There may be a Moneymaker son out there that's better, or may have been a Moneymaker son out there that was better. But from what I've seen from the kids that have hit the ground here, out of all of them, he's the best one I've had kids from.
Yeah, it just looks like one that you can't go wrong with there. Masculine in terms of his kind, but still looks like he's comfortable in his build. One I think that offers some depth to his side and is extremely correct in his lines. I think they're another really nice one.
Lot 22. I'll mispronounce the name. I'm not from Oklahoma. Say it, James.
Wapanucka.
Thank you. Two straws here for your consideration. Say that again.
I said, unless you're from Oklahoma, and then it's Whoppy.
Yeah, Whoppy. Okay, I would go with Whoppy over that. Great opportunity here. He is a brother to Warsaw. Two straws for your consideration.
When you see Wapanucka, there's not a lot of people know who Wapanucka was. I talked to Sky about him several years ago. Wapanucka and Warsaw obviously were twin brothers. Wapanucka was blue, Warsaw was black. They sent Warsaw to the test, and if I remember right, he finished the test with a 0 fecal all the way throughout. Wapanucka didn't go to a test, but he's produced a lot of females that have produced a lot of bucks that done well at the test. I think that this is semen that's pretty rare. There's not a lot of it out there, but sure could be good. I know it's been good. I've seen it used, and the kids are phenomenal. So here's a good opportunity if you like the if you don't like the Blue Sun over the Nick, then you probably haven't studied much performance pedigrees.
Here, lot 23, 2 straws of Raging River Rolo. Mr. Rolo is Sting over an Onyx Daughter. Seen Sting and a lot of pedigrees and a lot of good goats. He's one of the old guys, and of course Tay Onyx there.
You bet. This Sting over the Onyx Doe. The Onyx Doe happens to be out of SDR Dina Bear, which was a really prolific doe. She's when you look at a pedigree that says this should make some good females, and at the end of the day, that's what we're doing in the Kiko world is making females. The old Rolo should sure do it. By genotypically, he looks like he should produce some females.
Well, James, I think phenotypically he's going to do the same as well. I mean, in my mind, you study that one's build. He's relaxed and comfortable in the places he's supposed to be. The shape to his feet, I think, are really nice. He's got a lot of depth to his side there. And one that I think that offers a lot of levelness in just terms of presence in the way he's made, and one that I think is an awfully nice offering here.
Lot 24. We talked about his sire a little earlier in the sale, MKL Paladin, lot 24, 2 straws for your consideration. Paladin was the 2016 overall winner and highest ADG winner in a West Virginia buck performance test. James mentioned that Marshall was a proven buck in the test ring, and this just goes to show it with Paladin here. 2 straws for your consideration.
You bet. If you look at his pedigree, we've talked about just about everything on there. You got the AVG Marshall, and you got the Cedric, which was another moneymaker son. Then you got Terminator XX, Moose, Lightning's Titan, and Loverboy. I mean, the pedigree says, wow, this buck should have really done good at a buck test. Then you look at the description and, oh, he was the overall winner and highest ADG winner at the buck test. So proof's in the pudding here. I would say buy with extreme confidence that this buck should sure work on just about whatever doe you put him in.
Yeah, James, that one screams growth to me. You study him in terms of his picture. He looks bigger and his kind. That cannon bone seems to reach a little bit higher on him there. Offer some depth to his side. That one's extremely flexible in the terms of the way he's built. Another awfully nice offering there.
Lot 25, 2 straws of Tay Onyx for your consideration. Mr. Onyx is well known for producing Iron Horse.
You bet. It's this is another one kind of like some of the others we've talked about. There's hard to describe other than he's just done his part. He's produced some great bucks. He's produced some great does. If you're wanting the semen to raise you a great outcross buck, this is probably a great opportunity. If you're wanting one to raise some great females, this is a great opportunity. His dam CCR Miss Liberty, that's another really, really good moneymaker daughter. And of course, Tasman Zorro was no slouch himself. So get in here where you feel comfortable, but this is whatever you pay for them, they're worth it when you look at the babies.
Yeah, James, I think this one just looks like a flat-out generator to me. And you said he's done it both on whether making bucks and females. And I think he looks like he can do that. Athletic in terms of his build, offer some shape to his rib cage there. Really nice buck and some intriguing ways you could do that.
Lot 26, GHK painted wagon. 2 straws of painted wagon for your consideration. Painted wagon is son of Blue Sun, who we just talked about earlier. And he's got the Southwest Gold Mine on the bottom side with a Tasman Aristocrat. Of course, a Sparks buck from their herd out there.
You bet. This buck, I know Kendall and Dana Barnes have used him quite a bit there on their farm. And if we're going to talk about performance testing, if you don't know Kendall and Dana Barnes, they're about as high up on that list as you can get when it comes to everything they do. Every mating they make is made with performance testing in mind. So this one, if you look at his pedigree, it's Blue Sun over Goliath over Aristocrat. I mean, it's a foolproof pedigree, and just so happens that he produces a lot of color with it. So this is a great opportunity.
Yeah, really nice buck here. One I think offers maybe looks like a little growthier to me. One that I think is plenty big-footed. The shape to his feet look nice. Offers some depth to his side, and I think one that's honestly pretty attractive in the way he uses his hind legs. So whether you're making those replacement females or bucks that can go out and do their job, I think he can get it done for you.
You bet.
Okay, moving on to lot 27, 2 straws of Sand Sunny Boy 1622. We talked about the embryos earlier that he had produced. He has had bucks in 2 tests so far. Langston and in West Virginia, and placed in ADG in both of those. He is producing good stuff. We like him. As James said, he was the high selling buck at the showcase sale. He's got a home here, but we're offering 2 straws here. I didn't really have any plans to release any straws on the 1622, so I put 2 in here. Don't have any plans to release any others. So if you want an opportunity to get Sonny Boy, son of Sonny Boy over that TNT Cody daughter, here's your chance.
Yeah, I understand the not planning on putting this or that in the sale, but I'm glad you did. This is obviously, I like this buck a lot. I liked him as a baby. I liked him as a yearling. And now as I see his offspring, both his daughters out there in your pasture and the sons that you've sent to the test, I like him even better now. So I think I appreciate you putting them in the offering, and I'll say that I don't usually look to buy semen on bucks that we've sold, but this one might intrigue me a little.
Okay, lot 28, Mr. Helsington Sesame, very much sought after straws here, I think. Sesame is in a lot of herds, producing some really great goats and really great bucks and does. He's an old guy, but he's a good guy, and a rare chance here. I think 2 straws.
Absolutely. When you think of the old originals, Sesame, Sting, and the 489 boys, those have to be the first ones you think of, them and Generator, I guess. And I bet, I don't know how many straws were froze on him to begin with. I know a lot has been used. Obviously, he's an 87 model buck, so there can't be much left. I would venture to guess that it's single digits or low double digits as far as how many straws are left available on this buck. If you're the investing type and don't necessarily have a doe that he works on today, I tell you, the stuff stored at REI, I don't know if y'all been to REI, but they got great big tanks and it'll last forever there. So you just get in where you feel comfortable. And if you don't use it this year or next year or the next 10 years, it'll be there and ready to go. So not many opportunities to buy sesame semen. So get in here where you can. And she's selling 2 straws. It's not, usually it's a 1 straw deal if you get a chance to buy some. So you put this to work in an in vitro program and you get a whole bunch of babies out of not a lot of semen. So
That's Mr. Barnes gave us a comment here. I'm going to throw it up on the screen now. I didn't realize that. He says Sesame and Sting never made the trip over, just only their semen was shipped over. So definitely.
Perfect. Thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you, Ken.
Yep. Thank you, sir. All right, moving on to lot 29. We're just about there, but hey, everybody's hung in, and the viewers have not dropped off. So hopefully this is interesting to them, and they're getting something out of it. I think Corey's doing a great job too. Lot 29, 2 straws for your consideration. There's CVK Ryback. We're just talking about the barns and their performance testing. We had the Lin 8 earlier in the sale. This is a son of Lin 8 for your consideration, 2 straws.
This is a son of Lin 8. And for those that have seen Ryback, I feel, I guess, honored that I got to see Ryback. He is the son of Lin 8 in my mind. I mean, there's some good ones out there, and then there's Ryback. Ryback's a Lin 8, but he's out of one of the best does that has ever had a Kiko pedigree associated with her, AVG June. She's, if you want a Kiko and want a Kiko that looks like a meat goat's supposed to look like and actually putting meat on the bone and able to go out and stay parasite resistant. And I seen June when she was an old doe, and anyone in the Kiko business that's serious about wanting to raise good Kikos needs to have a pasture full of Junes. And she's not available, obviously. She's already dead and gone, but you can get 2 straws on one of her best sons right here.
Yes, sir.
And a neat looking one at that. When we talk about scale to width and the shape that one has in terms of where his shoulder sits on his body, I talked earlier about how you got to have a platform in order for muscle to develop on the top side of the skeleton. You study that one's rib cage, I think it's extremely big. Study that one's forearm, I think it's extremely stout. One that I think you wouldn't be disappointed if you got a hold of that lot.
Lot 30, live buck. We have 3 live bucks. This is the last one being offered, Mr. HFK Marco. I think this was a hard thing for Mr. Sanders to do, but he did. You can see he's out of Warriors King and a Pango Hewitt daughter. James, you want to tell us about him?
He's just an old buck. This is a buck that I tell you, it's kind of a funny deal. A guy posted him on Facebook a couple of years ago, and saw his pedigree, sent the man a message, and wired him the money real quick because there was no way I was letting that buck get away from me. They come to find out, after we made the deal, Mr. Yoder had called me and let me know that he owned the buck at one. He sold the buck to the man that I got him from. Had a bunch of good kids sired by him. He sent some bucks to the Oklahoma buck test the year that he sold the buck, and had already sold him before the test was over. And when the test was over, Marco had produced top 5 kids in both the ADG and the fecal in the buck test that year. So anyway, we used him for a couple of years, got some phenomenal daughters out of him. Actually have 2 kids in our two bucks in our group this year that everybody knows we hold very few bucks back to keep intact. And there's about 10 bucks out there that we held back this year out of a whole bunch, and 2 of them are sired by Marco. So if you want one that'll add some parasite resistance and just everything that a Kiko is supposed to be, he really is that. And of course, he's another one of the Hancock program. I mean, I don't know I don't know that there's any breeder in the industry right now that's produced as many bucks that have went on and done good things as Hancock has. So here's your chance at a good Hancock buck. You got anything?
I'm good.
Okay.
Good. Lot 31, DSL meter man. 2 straws for your consideration of him. I'm not real familiar with him. I've saw him some. James, I think you're going to be probably more familiar. He's goes back to Moose.
He's sired by Taste 66 Power Man, which is a double bred moose buck. If you look at his bottom side, that BBM Blues V870, a blue son out of a daughter of Gold Mine Heritage. I mean, come on. You can't – not many degrees that will trip my trigger better than a blue son over a Gold Mine Heritage. Anybody that knows me knows I'm going to like that. Meter Man, I know Troy's used him a bunch up there at TNT Farms, and they've got a lot of good does out of him. Just a good bomb-proof type pedigree. That's another great Kiko buck.
Okay. Yeah, and he looks like it, James. Another one that I think just proportional in terms of the way he's made. That one's rib cage is extremely big. His forearm offers some shape to it. And one that looks comfortable in terms of his build, and one that I think can offer some consistency going down the line.
Last lot here, I think. Lot 32, 2 straws. This is OLF White Lightning. He is a son of Generator. He's here on the farm. He's out of a Pango Hue daughter, and that daughter was a Shogun. Bred Pango Hue to that Shogun daughter there to get his mother. We've entered 1 buck in the test out of Lightning. And we did that in West Virginia. He placed 15th in fecal. Lightning is producing some really nice does. Last year, he produced more does than he did buck. That's the reason he seems to be a doe maker when he's throwing kids. See what this year's crop does on when it start hitting the ground. But we're excited about this guy with having Generator over Pango Hue.
You bet. We were talking about the original goats that came over. Of course, Generator ranks up there at the top of the list. You put him on a great doe sire like Pango, and then Shogun behind that. That's a foolproof, bomb-proof type pedigree that he should be producing great does for you, and he should be producing bucks that'll go on and do well at the buck test. And more importantly, bucks that'll hit their weaning weight where they're supposed to and get on the truck at the right age, and you don't have to feed them till they're 6 months old to be able to cash out on them. That's at the end of the day, we're raising meat goats, You need goats that are going to grow and hit your target weight when you need them to hit the target weight.
Yeah, guys, last lot, but certainly not the least. One that just screams combination to me. I don't know about you and James there, but I love this one's build and its kind. One that offers some spread and some masculinity to him. And like they said, not only offers some shape and some muscularity looking at him, but you're studying that one's build and the way his rib cage is made and just how he is in terms of his look. I think some does out of that one could be awfully, awfully nice to keep.
That's great. We're at the end, guys. Bring up the video. I guess in closing, we've had viewers throughout, James, and I don't think you can see that, but we've been at 30 viewers almost the whole time. Nobody's dropped. So again, we want to thank the people that tuned in. Obviously, with you hanging on with us as we went through, it was hopefully beneficial for you if you're going in and bidding. I think you can see from the lots that the consigners have put together that you can bid with confidence. They've put some great lots in here. And this is an opportunity, I guess maybe the last opportunity this year in an online sale to get ready for next year and be making that planning that we were talking about a little earlier in how you want to use these straws, the genetics and embryos to better improve your herd. We'll get some feedback here. I'll just show you. Eugene Hill said, great job showing there. Thank you, Eugene, and Jenny Swicker. Good info. So we appreciate the insight. And Corey, I think Corey did a great job. First time I've seen you do anything, Corey, and I know why you're renowned now. You know animals. Thank you, sir. James, I'll let you close if you want to, and then we'll end the broadcast. It should stay up on Facebook and on our YouTube channel if you want to go back and review anything, or if you didn't get to see it and you see a share, you should be able to go back to it.
You bet. I think most importantly, just folks, if you go back and look through them, if there's something you have questions on, whether it be a question for the producer, whoever has the consignment, or if you have a question for Andy or myself, or even for Corey, I'll give you his number. It don't bother me. Go look and see who the consigner is for that lot, and if you can't find their contact info, reach out to Andy or I. We'll reach out to them, or we'll get you their information and you can reach out to them. I mean, the whole purpose of this being online bidding is let everyone feel as transparent as we can make it and bid as confident as you can and as comfortable as you can from your own recliner if you want. So,
and we do have that info, James. Not that I care you give my number out, but lot 1A, we do have a placeholder in there for you guys, and the consigners did give us the phone numbers and emails. If you got any question on any of the lots, reach out to them. I'm sure they'll be more than happy to give you their hands-on with what they've put in the sale.
You bet. And thank you for the feedback too.
Yeah, and I'm putting that up there. I don't know if you're seeing it, James, but a lot of people, very informative, good info, great job. Somebody saying need to do a weekly show. I don't think I talk quite that good yet, but we'll stick with this for now. We glad everybody tuned in. We appreciate you and hope it was informative. And bid with confidence. It ends at 7 p.m. Sunday. Don't wait around. There was a lot of people registered right after the sale started. So set your proxy bids. Go enjoy your family and your goats, and a system will bid for you if somebody outbids you.
Bid high and bid often.
Yes, sir. It's a real opportunity here. Yeah, a real opportunity. You should definitely bid.
No, seriously, there's some great offerings here. I don't know that I've seen a listing of quality as deep as this, especially for your frozen genetics offering.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, James. Corey, again, you did an excellent job.
Thanks for having me.
All right. See you guys.